মাইক্রোফোন না, এটা আবার বন্ধ হয়ে গেল। হ্যাঁ, এটা অন আছে।
জাস্ট বসার জন্য একটা কি
Everyone, please, may I please request everyone to grab their seats.
কিছু অন অফ করার দরকার নেই, প্যানেল থেকেই করে দিতে। হ্যাঁ,
আমি এটা অফ করবো না, ঠিক আছে।
শুরু থেকে বলতে
South University. I am Dr. Mohaimin, Chair of Accounting and Finance, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to our beautiful campus in this event, National Education and Innovation Dialogue. My dear guests, dignitaries, educators, innovators, passionate advocates for change, this National Education and Innovation Dialogue, it is a crucial gathering where we bridge the present with the future of learning. Everyone, today we stand at a remarkable intersection of tradition and transformation, where the foundation of education meets the frontiers of innovation. If we think about today, if we take a moment and think about it, in this age of artificial intelligence and virtual reality and technological disruptions, if we ask, how do we prepare our students, not just for the jobs of tomorrow, but for the challenges that are yet to be foreseen, we will find that the answer lies in our ability to adapt, to innovate, to think, to discourse, and to come to solutions that will be sustainable. Gets in the remarkable run of human history, from the ancient cavemen to what we have today, the remarkable achievements that we have had in human civilization, in this process, the value of dialogue cannot be understated. From the stoas and the lyceums of the Greek agoras, when those philosophers came together and discussed ideas of economics, of physical sciences, of finances, of democracy, those ideas literally shaped the world that we are in right now. And those ideas were shaped through dialogues. And this is what we plan today. We want to engage today in a dialogue that will foster a meaningful change. In this dialogue today, we are going to have multiple sessions. We have 6 sessions prepared for you all throughout the day. In our first session, if you have the agenda with you, we are going to be talking about the future of education for an innovative nation, an essential need that needs to be properly addressed. We are then going to go on and we're going to talk about the startup ecosystem. The current boom in the startup system needs more nurturing, needs more oomph in it to develop it. We're going to have a chat about that. We're going to talk about the private sector innovation, one of the fundamental drivers of economic growth. We're going to talk about skill development and the AI knowledge economy. Again, something that is very relevant for the modern times. We are going to talk about social innovation, women entrepreneurship, and lastly, but definitely not leastly, we know that finance keeps the circle of economy moving. We are going to be talking about how finance enables growth. All these discussions, we are not just having them for the sake of discussions. The outcome that we expect is not about just something we are going to add to our curriculum or just an empty discussion. We want to make sure that we have a discussion that will ultimately lead to policy recommendations, that will lead to changes that are actually relevant and that can move us forward in this continuous sort of competition that we have to develop ourselves. So that's the goal. That's kind of discussions that we are going to try to have all throughout the day. So I will implore every one of you, as you engage in this discussion, do not think for a single moment that a single idea cannot make a significant change, that a random idea said in a random place cannot bring forward positive change in the world. Because if you look at history, if you try to learn from the lessons of history, ideas uttered in random places, in basements, in hall rooms such as this, in big offices and penthouses, in cafeterias, in universities, anywhere and everywhere, it is shared ideas and discussion about those that has changed the world. It has made changes in the past, it is making changes now, it will make changes in the future. So I will implore each and every one of you, as you engage with us throughout the whole day, listen deeply, engage freely, but most important of all, think critically and share your ideas to the rest of the panelists and the audience that you have. Together, we can have a positive dialogue that can make a significant change and can drive the growth that we want. So ladies and gentlemen, let us have a great day of dialogue. Thank you. Now that the introduction of the program is done, as you know, organizing an event like that is a lot of work. It requires a lot of support. So some vote of thanks is necessary. So before we go on to the actual event, first off, I would like to give a big vote of thanks to North South University and Bangladesh Brand Forum. The authorities of these two organizations have worked tirelessly to make this event a reality. So they deserve our thanks, and I hope you will join me in expressing that thanks. In addition, a big vote of thanks goes to City Bank PLC, one of the major sponsors of this event. City Bank and North South University have a long-standing relationship. This connection between the academia and practice is something that we value greatly, and Citibank has always been a great partner in this. Unfortunately, the chairman of the bank and also our BOT member, Mr. Aziz Al Kaisar, could not be here today, but nonetheless, we express our great thanks to Citibank for being a consistent support to North South University. In addition, we also express our thanks to the United Commercial Bank PLC, another partner who has supported us greatly in this event, and also Asian Tiger Capital Partners, who are the knowledge partners for our event. I would request everyone to give a big round of applause to everyone that has supported this event. Now, for the first event that we have a series of excellent panelists. We are going to get into that, but I think before we start, we are going to officially get the event started by standing and giving respect to our national anthem. So may I please request the national anthem to be on cue. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Now, as we all know, ladies and gentlemen, our country recently has gone through a significant social and political transformation. This transformation has been brought forward through a revolution that has been led by students and young people across the country and also all the citizens of Bangladesh. We have had great sufferings, great deal of loss suffered through our martyrs. People have suffered mentally, they have suffered physically. Now, as we begin our event, we would like to take 1 minute to commemorate this sacrifice. We would like to take a minute to pay our homage to all the sacrifices that have been made by Bangladeshis across the country. And for that purpose, I will request everyone to please stand again and observe a minute of silence. Thank you, everyone. We're now going to go into our event. I would just kindly request to all of the audience that are still coming in, if you could fill up the seats in the front, that will be very helpful. Instead of sitting in the back, we have seats up front as well. Please feel free to take the seats up front. The pictures come out nicer that way, so please. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, we're soon going to go to our first discussion session, which is the future of education for an innovative nation. Now, we have our panelists that will talk about it, so I will not talk too much about the event, but just to let you know who we have for this event, we have as our chief guest for the event, Professor Wahyuddin Mahmood, Honorable Advisor, Ministry of Education and Ministry of Planning, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Wahyuddin sir, unfortunately, is running a little bit late. Hopefully, we are going to have him soon here. I have just been informed that he probably is very close to campus, so we can expect him very shortly. We also have among us Professor S.M.A. Fayaz, Honorable Chairman, University Grants Commission of Bangladesh. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind presence here. We have our own VC, of course, who, for us at least at NSU, needs no introduction, Professor Abdul Hannan Chaudhuri, sir. We will also have with us okay, all right, everyone. So it's my great pleasure to announce to you that our honorable advisor, Professor Wahyuddin Mahmood, is here with us. Welcome to NSU, sir. In addition to that, we also have Professor Syed Farhad Anwar, Vice Chancellor of BRAC University. Welcome, a very welcome to you to our campus, sir, as well. We're also honored to have with us Professor Mohammad Kamrul Ahsan, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Jahangirnagar University. Thank you, sir, for making the long trip down here. We really appreciate it. And of course, we have Mr. Shariful Islam, Founder and Managing Director of Bangladesh Brand Forum, and Mr. Iftikharul Islam, Founder and Chairman of Asian Tiger Capital Partners, both of whom have made significant contributions to make this program a reality. So I thank both of them. Now, may I kindly ask all of the guests for this session to please come on stage and take their respective seats. So, Professor Wahyuddin sir, S.M.A. Fayaz sir, Anand sir, everyone please, if you could come and take your seats on the stage. I think, sir, we will enter from my right side of the stage. Now, I will kindly request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Abdul Hanan Chaudhary, sir, to present a token of appreciation in the form of flowers to Honorable Advisor, Professor Wahiduddin Mahmood. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind presence here. We really appreciate it. Now, I will ask our Honorable VCA, sir, again to present a token of appreciation to Professor SMA Fayaz, Honorable Chairman of UGC. Thank you very much again, sir. Thank you. So now I would kindly ask Mr. Shariful Islam, founder and managing director of Bangladesh Brand Forum, our direct partners in this event, to come to the podium and share the welcome note.
Thank you. Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Wahiduddin Mahmood, Honorable Advisor, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Planning, Government, People's Republic of Bangladesh, Honorable Professor SMA Faiz, Chairman, University Grant Commission of Bangladesh, our distinguished panel members, friends from the media, teachers from different universities, especially from North-South University, and our dear students. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. I always loved a quote, which is to say that there are decades when nothing happens, and there are weeks when decades happen. I think the time that we are passing now, it's maybe there are days when so much happens. Those who follow technology a little bit, who has sort of seen the news of, or anyone heard the name of DeepSpeak? Anyone? Okay, so there are already many. And just in one day, we have seen how the whole world of AI has gone upside down in just one news coming from a Chinese AI company. And it has toppled the world's most valuable company, NVIDIA, from its #1 position. And that's the new reality. If anyone follows the most important or visited AI platforms in the world, every week it changes. Which shows how technology is truly disrupting our life. Within that context, we try to ask the question, what is the purpose of education? Why we are all here? And I've been trying to think that what message I would like to give to all of you. While there is a core purpose, as was stated by our curator of the program, that we want to, out of the entire discussion, we want to develop a policy recommendation to given to the recommended and relevant ministries and institutions and bodies. But there is another very important objective that we have, is to engage you. Because in the end, whatever future that we are talking about, whatever transformation that we are talking about, will only be possible if you engage and give your perspective, share your thinking, so that we can envision a very different future. A future which has already started to shape very differently from what we have been used to. I, once upon a time, used to work for Unilever back in 2001. And I can see the significant change in terms of the way we used to look at our work at that point in time, and what today's very normal small company tries to solve problem and how do they try to operate. It's a vast change that has happened. And all of your preparation is to step into that world, whether it's working for a company or starting your own company or any initiative. But the bigger question is that the only part of our purpose of our education? To pursue one's own individual success, or maybe in extension, helping a company to grow, which are of course needed, but that's only one dimension to the whole discussion. The purpose of education in the end is, one, to realize everyone's individual potential, and second, helping us collectively to solve bigger problems of the world, of the society, of the community, and how we can create a long-term sustainable community society together. And I think that is one area as an education system we have to completely redesign ourselves. Because the education system that we basically follow, not only in Bangladesh, all over the world, has been designed for a different era, different time. It was designed for a different purpose from what we are facing now. And there are already efforts both in Bangladesh and around the world to imagine and redesign this entire education system. We work extensively with the private sector into achieving some of the core goals of the country. So we know that as a Bangladesh, as a nation, we are trying to achieve the LDC graduation in the next couple of years. And immediately we have our SDG goals to achieve in 2030. And if you look into both these two goals from a private sector lens, what we face or hear from the CEOs of the world, that there is a fundamental shift needed from the professionals that we already have in the companies, and also the new professionals or entrepreneurs who are going to join. So our job as Bangladesh Brand Forum is try to look at these shifts that are happening and how we can work, collaborate, assist, engage in any form with academia, with policymakers, with private sectors, and more importantly with you into preparing yourself so that you play a very key role in that transformation. And I think for Bangladesh, there has never been a more critical time when all of us collectively needs to rise to make sure that our collective effort leads to a country which is innovative, where progress is shared together. If we look at one course data, poverty in Bangladesh has gone down overall, but our gap between rich and poor has widened, and that gap is more in Dhaka and Chittagong. So what does it tell us? It tells us that we are doing interesting things. We are doing amazing things. We are pushing the economy forward. But the benefit of that is limited to a small group of people. Our job collectively is to ensure that it is shared across the country. Because if the country is not progressing together, individual growth, individual companies' growth makes very little difference. And we are also seeing the brunt of it. So I hope that today we have got very fruitful discussion which will help us to identify some of the core areas where all of us collectively can work on, because education is a core fundamental rights for everyone. Lifelong learning has become a core fundamental rights for everyone. So how do we ensure that journey is achieved for Bangladesh, where all of us collectively, the government, academia, students, institutions like us, and AT Capital, all of us can work together into pursuing that goal, and realizing the potential of Bangladesh is something that all we aspire for. Thank you everyone for joining here, and I hope that you will be joining in your inputs and suggestions in the digital sort of space where every engagement will be live streamed. So we look forward to hearing from you on how we can achieve this goal. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shariful Islam. Now, ladies and gentlemen, every summit or discussion or dialogue, if you will, like this needs a keynote session. Now, we have the only keynote session for today. The session is titled Innovation Ecosystem and Preparing Bangladesh's Education Sector for the AI Knowledge Economy, something that is very relevant in the current times. To conduct this session, I am delighted to invite Mr. Iftikharul Islam, founder and chairman of AT Capital Partners, to come to the podium and commence this session. Iftikhar, if you could please. Can we cue the presentation, please?
Well, thank you everybody for being so patient. I always have an expression, Bangladesh mean time is the real time plus 1 hour. So I think on BMT, we're not too late, but I know that many have been waiting for a long time. So given that, I'll try and combine my welcome address, my keynote into 10 minutes, and then we can move to the more important panel discussion. Just a little bit of context for a few minutes. Why are we here? Actually, Professor Hannan and Professor Farhad Anwar and I, the three of us have been friends for a long time, and we meet almost weekly, believe it or not. So we have regular discussions about where we're going as a country, where is the economy going, where is the business sector going, education. And I think one of the things we were thinking about is what did August the 5th mean, and where are we in this transition of the next 1 year, in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years as a country, as an economy, and as a people. The first observation before I go on to the substance, what caused the monsoon revolution? What caused August the 5th? And many things, but in my mind, there are three main catalysts. Firstly, yes, of course, there was BCS protests, but I would say broadly a lack of opportunities for our youth, a lack of job opportunities for our youth was one of the key drivers, and that was building. Second factor was mentioned before, income and wealth inequalities. So massive wealth disparities, the gap between the rich and the poor, and related to that was corruption, and we've seen a lot about how many hundreds of billions of dollars have been stolen from the country. And the third element is a lack of democratic voice. And I think in terms of democratic voice, not just rigged elections, but also a lack of say in the future, especially amongst our young people. So these are the three things that we thought about when we were just thinking about this innovation summit. In terms of the core themes, let me move forward here. So I think when we think about the innovation ecosystem, another thought that Hanan Bhai and Farhad Bhai and I have discussed many times is the need for an innovation ecosystem. So we are, I think Sharif and some of the other speakers will mention, I think globally, we are at an inflection point. We are at an inflection point on multiple fronts. Firstly, you've all seen the impact of ChatGPT, NVIDIA becoming a $3 trillion company before yesterday's 16% fall. So we're in the middle of an AI revolution. And what does that, is Bangladesh prepared? What does that mean for us? What does it mean for our education system? What does it mean for innovation and the macroeconomy? The Honorable Education and Indeed Planning Minister is here, and one of our leading macroeconomic thinkers, Waidun Mahmood Sir. I think that this AI economy and how it's disrupting many industries in many countries, we need to understand that. And then the next thing in terms of an inflection point is also geopolitically. So the election of President Trump, even before that, the world was bifurcating, was splitting into two between a US-centric technology sector and a China-centric technology sector. So we in the panel will address that as well. So how do we create an innovation ecosystem that's going to generate millions, tens of millions of new jobs, knowledge economy jobs? So are we going to stay on the track of having from 4 million to 8 million to 10 million RMG or leather goods, other workers? Can we actually embrace the knowledge economy? I have a presentation, but I'm not going to, I mean, I think it's, there's a lot of different slides. So I think innovation ecosystem, there are a whole range of themes, but I think that perhaps in the interest of time, rather than going through all of these slides, I think the organizers can share it on the NSU and Brand Forum website, and you can look through it and at your leisure. But again, I think one of the things that's very important is for this dialogue today, it's not meant to just be a talking shop. We at the end we will prepare a policy paper, and I've been telling Hanan Bhai and Farhad Bhai that we should have a series of 10, 11 policy dialogues in 2025 that will feed into a strategic roadmap for the next elected government. So we're in an interim government phase. The Honorable Advisor is here. If we think about the next 3 to 5 years, we have a unique opportunity to also set a roadmap, a strategic roadmap for our economy, for our development agenda, for the next governments as well. So this will be the first of a series of dialogues. And it's, again, very important. All of you, I mean, this was a student revolution. We're talking with students. This is an opportunity for all of you to also help drive the future agenda. We think about the innovation ecosystem before August the 5th. It was very centered around a corrupt ICT ministry where 70–80% of the ICT ministry's budget was largely taken away in corruption. And there was very little input from our youth, our startups, our SMEs. So I think this is, again, a reset we're in a reset phase. So you need to also engage and embrace this opportunity to have your voice heard in the development process. So I think in terms of the ecosystem here, we're here at NSU University. We have 3 of the leading VCs, the UGC chairman, the education advisor. The government, of course, is an important stakeholder, but we need to move away, as I said, from the government being the dominant stakeholder in the innovation ecosystem to a partner. The universities are a key anchor. The corporate sector and entrepreneurs are also very important, and we'll cover that in some of the afternoon sessions. So this is a very, very busy chart. I think you'll be able to see, look at it later on in the, maybe online. But when we talk about innovation ecosystem, there's capital, there's the innovation from universities, there's innovation from the corporate sector, there's financing innovation in terms of accessing capital, and you have to have this right blend to create an innovation ecosystem. And no one model is correct. Silicon Valley is very different to, say, Korea, and Korea is very different to India, and India is very different to Israel. So we need to look at different models of innovation ecosystems and find what's right for Bangladesh. This slide here shows, from McKinsey, shows how much McKinsey is estimating the AI revolution is going to add to global GDP. So it's up to $13 trillion. So where is Bangladesh? Are we well positioned for that? I'm just going to flick through. And probably I'll stop here and get onto the panel discussion. So for our Honorable Education Advisor and UC Chairman, what is an AI knowledge economy? We have to understand, what does the AI revolution mean, as I said, for our education system and for the economy and the population more broadly. So AI, do we want more AI developers and programmers? Do we want our education system to leverage AI in education itself? Do we want to train more entrepreneurs in the AI sector? We have 600,000 freelancers and drop shippers. How are they going to use new AI tools to engage with the global economy and technology more effectively? So it's a very broad discussion we'll go into in the panel discussion. And how does Bangladesh become competitive in the AI, new global AI and knowledge economy? So I think that in some ways, Bangladesh has fallen behind in terms of AI in our education system, but it's also an opportunity for Bangladesh to leapfrog. So I think what we'll come on to the panel discussion now, how we're going to engage with China, the US, and other major economies, knowledge centers, and AI drivers. So I think with that, I said I have many other slides here, but in the interest of time, let me now move on to the panel discussion. And I think I'd like to give more time for that. And maybe if there may not be a Q&A here, but I think if any of you have any questions, you can share with the organizers. If we have time, we'll try and take some questions at the end. So let me now move on to the panel discussion. I'm going to, I think let's work on, is it logistics? So, okay. So hopefully I've caught up a little bit on the Bangladesh mean time delay. Let me start now. The structure here is I'm going to get some comments from our 3 leading VCs, and then our Honorable UGC Chairman, and then the Honorable Education Advisor will speak. Let me start with Professor Hannan. Sorry, since we are sitting in NSU, and I wanted to ask you a few things. Of course, we'd like to hear about initiatives that NSU is taking, but let's start with the news Sharif mentioned in his comments about DeepSeek. So DeepSeek, and let me talk about that in a little more detail. So DeepSeek is a new Chinese, like a chat GPT from China. And everybody thought that China was far behind the US in AI. And yesterday's DeepSeek release was a shock. So the NASDAQ crashed because suddenly the world realized that China is not so far behind. So I think we need to engage with the Chinese innovation and technology sector in the AI economy. So I think Professor Hanan has been to China, I think, a record number of times so far in the last few months. So maybe you can comment on how you're seeing the Chinese education innovation system, and yeah, how we can connect. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Can you connect this? Hello? Hello? Am I audible? All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, Ifti, um, to talk about the education innovation, and also the landscape of the education sector of Bangladesh first. I think I would like to emphasize on a little bit on Bangladesh, actually, and also the global perspective of the higher education. The higher education sector has actually, uh, you know, uh, changes so fast in across the world due to the penetration of the advanced and the frontier technologies, and especially that you have been actually talking about the AI and chat GPT. All those technological penetration has actually changes the landscape of the whole globe in terms of the higher education sector. And we being Bangladeshi academic institutions, where is the state of the country first? Then I'm going to also talk about China and other perspective. Let us try to see that, well, what is the scenario in Bangladesh, and are we actually there at pace in terms of the global education platform, the way they have advances? And you see that, well, even the report that we have been getting in terms of the edtech technology that are actually changing so much in terms of the investment. We have got like 200 $50 billion investment in the edtech that is actually going from 2021 to even now. We are expecting that in 2025 is going to be around $600 billion investment in edtech for the changing landscape of the higher education and education as a whole. So that means the penetration of the technology is in the education system is widely visible. And even if we see the supply side of the student and the academic institutions in a country like Bangladesh, we really need to also think about that, well, how we can actually incorporate technology and also change the landscape of the education system of our country from primary to tertiary education everywhere. Otherwise, we are going to be way too behind compared to the advanced world, the way they are actually engaging students with sort of technology embedded in any curricula and pedagogy. Everywhere technology is embedded, and the reason is there. We all know that we are actually entering into a world where our graduates are going to be highly, I think, unemployable to some extent. Many of you know that, well, the New York Times report that they have given 3 years back, they told that, well, 50% of the Indian graduates, they are going to be unemployable. And when they talk about India, we are also there, that half of the Bangladeshi graduates are going to be simply unemployable, just because that we are not bringing the cutting edge curricula and technology in the classroom education, and we are not actually changing the education sector as a whole, thinking that where is world is heading. If I give one statistics, 98% of MIT undergraduate students are research driven. They are engaged in research while they are pursuing undergraduate degree over there. And if we see that the National University of Singapore statistics, you see that, well, 94% of their graduates are employed before their graduation, 6 months prior to their graduation. So what is the scenario in Bangladesh? How do we actually address that things that when we know that, well, 1.2 million children, they are actually graduating from across the country from the higher learning institutions, and for them, the country as a whole could not even create that many jobs, nor even we are actually giving that sort of skill so that our students and our graduates can be absorbable and also be sellable in the marketplace in the global arena. Bangladesh truly needs to actually focus on actually the global market, that our graduates are going to be employed not only in Bangladesh but also in across the world. So how do we actually go for that strategy in terms of giving sort of education in our educational institutions, I think the first and foremost problem that the structure of the education that we are following in our country, particularly in the curriculum and all this, the process that we are following, these are actually way too far behind compared to the advanced world. And we really need to address those causes, drastically changing the steps that we really need to see. Otherwise, our graduates in the upcoming years, they are not going to be employable, nor even they will have entrepreneurial skills. So we would like to see that, well, skill is something that we have to emphasize heavily, and we have to give them technological skills, sort of communication skills, and other relevant skills with the STEM-based education that we always try to focus. That science, technology, STEM-based education that we have to give heavy emphasis. Now, when you come China, that you ask me one question. In just one nutshell, that we are going to see that China has incorporated in this part of the world, I would say that all sort of STEM-based education and
your merit. So you are really talented, highly meritorious. But when you come to the universities, I wonder what kind of opportunities we are providing you so that you can groom yourself to meet the need of the nation. We could not give you the accommodation that you need, the learning facilities that you needed so badly. Couldn't give you the library facility in the public sector, particularly the laboratory facilities, the classroom facilities, and nothing. So that you can really contribute for the betterment of the nation. So we have to think very seriously what you need and what we should give you the opportunities for that. The Honorable Vice Chancellor, thank you very much for inviting me. I couldn't say no to him. I have definitely very important things to do this morning and the afternoon because we'll be holding the first Finance Committee meeting after I join the University Grants Commission. This will be followed by tomorrow's first full commission meeting. However, the Honorable Vice Chancellor has mentioned about his experience in China. He has mentioned something about India, but very recently, I visited Pakistan, attending the transformation of CERC in higher education. That was fantastic. We visited two universities. One is National University of Science and Technology. The other is National Aerospace Science and Technology Park of Air University. I felt like I was sailing in a boat, sailing through wonders around. Wonders because they achieved something despite the odds. They achieved something very, very great, really, despite the financial crisis. Because they are giving full devotion to higher education, science, and technology. The teachers, the scientists, they're getting very high salaries and all the facilities they need. I think our honorable chief guest will definitely think about it, that how much budgetary allocation should be there for education. Budget should be really, the Pakistan, despite being poorer than Bangladesh, they have more education than what we have, almost double the education. This is very significant, I believe. However, University Grants Commission in cooperation with the Minister of Education and with the World Bank, trying its best to provide you the facilities, the fund that you need, particularly through the Education Transformation Fund for innovation in particular. We have this fund will be in addition to the budgetary allocation what the universities have. This will cover both public sector and private sector universities. The deadline is 10th February. I believe the Vice Chancellor was also telling me that North South University will be submitting few projects. We shall consider them very seriously, but one thing we shall do, that this is methodically done. This is carried out with full transparency, and that in each and every step we see result. This must be very fruitful, very transparent. The budgetary allocation is about 1,200 crore taka. And this will cover, as I said, this will cover both private and public sector. A single project may come to the arena of 50 lakh to 10 crore taka. We have for pandemic preparedness allocation. We have for research and higher research. We have research within industries. We have for the establishment of research centers, transformation centers. So definitely that will be useful for the universities, both public and private sector. University Grants Commission shall also cooperate with the private sector universities in pursuing their higher education, the PhD programs. That could be a kind of a sandwich program linking the private university with public university. And the project I mentioned about the Higher Education Transformation Fund, there also we will work together. The project proposers will work together with with university, with research body, and with the industry. Together they will address the need of the society, need of the nation, because in the university concept, definitely the teachers as senior scholars, but also the students as junior scholars, they will have to find out the issues and problems that exist in the society, and they have to work to resolve those problems, those issues, so that the country is definitely benefited to build a nation, build a future that where we can compete with the other parts of the world, because it's definitely a global situation. We have to work together. We have to prepare ourselves accordingly. And again, I pledge our full support from the University of Grants Commission in cooperation with the Minister of Education. And thank you very much once again for inviting me. Thank you all. Allah Hafiz.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Two very pertinent issues that I really need to discuss, being the private university vice chancellor. Sir, you have mentioned one thing, that while private universities are taxed, that even the university like North South had to give around 200 crore taka tax. These are the hard-earned students' tuitions money that are not supposed to be taxed by the government. And imagine that this 200 crore taka we could have been invested in the innovative labs that we are actually dreaming. At North South University, we are trying to establish the very high-tech, cutting-edge robotics, machine learning, deep learning, and the AI-based labs. But the government is actually treating the private universities as a profit-making institutions. We are not. We are actually making profit for reinvestment, for the growth and expansion of the university and the higher education sector. So one thing I would request you to do something from the University Grants Commission for the private universities, that they should not be taxed. The other thing that you have also mentioned, which is our claim from both private and public, and also primary to higher tertiary education, we truly want to see that, being the interim government, our honorable advisor is here. Can we, or will we be able to show that the upcoming budget is going to break through the required budgets from the GDP has to be given to the education sector, so that we can see that the thing that we are talking about in terms of changing the landscape of the education sector through technology, through proper education, crafting the curricula, and also giving proper education in the classroom, so that the transformation happens very quick and fast. This government, they should change the prior practices that have been there by the political party governments. They should give, I think, 10% budget, not 2.5% budget, because the average is 4.5 GDP, GDP's percentage, but Bangladesh need to, double it. Otherwise, we are going to be way too far behind in terms of the.
Professor Hannan, I just interrupt for the WC. I think if we can take a quick comment from both other VCs before, I know, sir, you have to leave soon, but they may ask a question for both the honorable advisor and the honorable UGC chairman as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, FD. I'll just put in a few words because I know that both our chief guests and special guests are busy. One thing we should highlight, according to the recent Global Knowledge Index, if you look into it by UNDP, Bangladesh ranks 112th out of 138 to 40 countries. Now, this is one news, which primarily implies that in knowledge creation and knowledge advancement, we are behind. And the task primarily lies with us here in the tertiary level education to ensure that the creation and advancement of knowledge is in place. Second, when we talk in terms of knowledge, the students are the main focus of knowledge. What we are not doing right now, and this is injustice as far as me as a teacher is concerned, I'm looking at it from that particular perspective, is that we are not creating knowledge within the students that we are talking about, the body of knowledge that we need to. Now, the question is, how do we do that? If we talk in terms of only bringing in acquisition of knowledge, that is, from the west to the east or from the north to the south, then we are going to increase the knowledge divide. So primarily, first of all, we have to ask ourselves what we can give to the world which the world does not have. And this is where, at least from BRAC University, I can say, we are focusing on what we call, we can easily be leaders of the South. Easily. That is where we have our strengths. So our students need to be tailored or developed from the perspective of using our own knowledge and how that we can give to the rest of the world. This is where, again, when we talk in terms of even technology, we forget that when we talk in terms of AI, we are talking about in terms of machine to machine. Is that where we want to go? Only machine to machine learning, or machine to human learning for that matter, even worse? Or do we really want to get into human to machine learning? This is one area where we need to go beyond just STEM from our part of the world. It is not just STEM that we need to talk about. We need to talk about environment. We need to talk about governance. These two are the areas where we have to work very, very hard. The third dimension, which I think is extremely important, and this is where we don't have time. Sharif just said that something that happens in 2 years can happen in 1 week or 2 weeks. This is the time that we have right now. This government is the one who can help us make the changes that we must have. We must have. We need to also have some freedom in terms of creating our own curriculum. Stop the academic bureaucracy that we have. We are not being able to build our own sort of currency, knowledge. Knowledge is the ultimate currency. So if we need to develop our curriculum, we cannot time and again send our curriculum to UGC, wait for them to give us an answer and take it forward. That's not the way knowledge is built. We have, how many type of universities do we have right now? We have got the private, we've got the public universities. The public universities are dependent on funds from the government. The private universities are not. And our Honorable Vice Chancellor from North South has quite clearly suggested that give us that freedom so that we can invest, reinvest whatever we are earning. And of course, tuition is only one source. This is the other sources that we are right now, we have it. I would be very proudly, I can say that we just signed up with BSRM, one of the industries, and what we are doing is naming rights are being given to the private sector so that we can undertake research in those areas. We're also partnering with foreign agencies, foreign organizations, private organizations, whereby we can also contribute, create our own funds and endowments. But the important part is how much freedom are we going to be given by UGC? The other type of university that we have is we do have foreign universities as well. Why aren't they coming? Give them the freedom. Please let the foreign universities also come in. That will increase our competition, increase our quality. We don't have to be scared of them. One other area, one particular tertiary university which I feel is been ignored are the National University. The National University is the largest tertiary body of university that we're talking about in Bangladesh. 26 lakh students. Can we make them, no, 36 is when we calculate also their intermediate, so we have to get rid of the intermediate. You get rid of the intermediate education, only the tertiary are 26. Can we specialize them? Should we specialize them? By areas. This is, I think, these are the strategies that we need to take now. We cannot. We have destroyed a lot of time. We don't have any more time. I humbly urge our policymakers, we will provide you with all the help that is required. Our students are the brightest of the lot. They can create knowledge and give to the world what no one else can. And don't forget, if we remind ourselves, BUET graduates, 90% of them go out and serve the West. And that is where the technology is being built. So our human minds going out there, serving them, rather than we ourselves working for ourselves. So I don't think that it's just global. For me, the new term should be glocal. Global and local combined. That is where the strategy needs to be built. We have scope, huge, and we just simply cannot waste any more time. So my humble submission to all of us here is, of course, we shouldn't leave everything to the policymakers as well. We will be there and we can work together. We can actually attain heights which no one else has ever done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're good. You're good. Because I'm time bound. Sorry, and it will not be possible on my part to answer to all the questions, all the areas that the two vice chancellors have covered. But however, about our honorable chief guest came to University Grants Commission a few days ago, and we discussed about the budgetary allocation. He mentioned categorical that there is no scope that they can reduce the budget, rather they will have to increase the budget in the education. And about what you mentioned about VAT and tax, definitely I believe the honorable chief guest will think about it very seriously. And what Professor Farhad has said about what the University Grants Commission should do for the private sector universities. A University Grants Commission is considered as a regulatory body, but what I believe is we will work as a team, and we shall cooperate with each other so that we can move together. And linking foreign universities in research. Yes, you had also mentioned about this. Our PhD program, what PhD program that you think of introducing, if you are linking the foreign university, that will be possible, I believe. I am not been able to give lot of efforts in the private sector university these days because I was too much occupied with the good show admission process. I'm too much occupied with the 7 college episode that you have seen. However, very soon we shall sit with the private university vice chancellors, and definitely we shall discuss how we can move together. Inshallah, that will be as cooperation, and we shall work like a team. Inshallah. Thank you very much.
Is it my turn? Oh, thank you. Honorable Education Advisor. Oh, we don't want to spare you though. Anyway. Honorable Chairperson UGC, other respected dignitaries on and off the stage and listeners. Basically, I'm a student of philosophy. That includes both ethics and logic. So my point would be covering that side of concern. First of all, my question to respected education advisor, do we have national innovation? Do you have any body to consider and evaluate our national innovation system? And we know that training and proper education system basically examine national innovation system. I don't know whether we have one like this. Number 2, look, first thing first, we have thousands of unemployed graduates from private and public university. I used to teach here business ethics for a long time, more than a decade, I think. And I know some of the students still trying to grab a job. Even after completion, their degree in a subject that is basically very popular in this country. So what is wrong and where is wrong? Something is wrong there. So I think we should change our curriculum and syllabus to prepare graduates who can grab the job that are basically taken by experts from people around the country, from the region. We blame people, they are coming here and enjoying this opportunity. I don't agree. You have to have alternative. If you have enough graduates with skill, then we can blame them. So my first suggestion is to include at tertiary level, especially vocational courses, so that they can go and do something for themselves and for the universities and other sectors in question. The second concern, and the last one, because advisor sir is very busy, I know. He doesn't have time to spare more than a few minutes, I know. The second stuff is that AI was a serious concern, according to my friend FT, right? But there are some ethical issues to address. For me, as a student of ethics, there is a list which includes some concerns. Number 1, I think the unemployment crisis. Why? Because as I have put some note on my paper, several professions and sectors might be automated by AI, and there will be a huge job loss. In my country at this moment, we are fighting to offer opportunity for graduates, employment opportunities. So before you step into that, you need to take into consideration your problem. You need to contextualize the principle you are trying to actually follow, or the policies that you are trying to implement. So I think universities and faculties and also policymakers should take this seriously into their consideration, that we need to produce graduates with skills. And lastly, what I say is, as you remember Motiur, with the great story of goat, he is a brilliant guy with huge amount of money, but he does not have honor, pride for his position. Why? Because he did not practice virtue, honesty, fidelity, generosity, and stuff like that. So if you are equipped with a special skill without focusing on you to make a human being in full sense, that includes practice of virtue, that is not sustaining. So universities like North-South, they offer GD courses that includes ethics, logic, and stuff like that. Transferable skill is very important, that help you to adapt and to prepare you to accept changes. It could be economic or social. And studying philosophy, that includes, for example, ethics and logic. That means reasoning capacity, reasoning issues. That will help you to increase your transferable skill. That will help you to make an informed decision, in the sense that you know there are ethical principles, and we do not have any single principle to offer you to follow, but we have a number of principles. You are at liberty, you can order your choice based on your reasoning capacity and context. So a graduate with required training, which means skills, along with a commitment to practicing ethical values, they can sustain well, and that is a sustainable process. So I should conclude here now by saying that we should make a tailor-cut journey. We should make a tailor-cut journey. We should contextualize our principles that we take from global context. First thing first, again, I'm saying, try to produce graduates who are useful for your country, in the sense that they are ready for rendering their service for their own bread and butter. At the same time, they are capable, more able to help you to take the country towards the goal at the level of expectation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Before the SAR is running out of time, so before his talk, I would like to finally request few things to SAR, because we are not going to get SAR anymore there. Just a 2 minutes, sir. I would like to say, I'm not representing North-South this time. I'm representing all the private universities, because these are the students, they are giving their tuitions and we're highly charged by tax. And the discussion that Sharif has started today, that we can change in a week, actually the landscape of the education sector of our country. We are highly taxed. This money is the students' money. I am the VC for last 3 months over here. The need that I see for North-South even, we are we are engaged in very high, I would say, the cutting edge technology involved researches over here. We have a dream that we are going to set research labs over here, but we cannot do it just because of the flexibility and also the barriers that government has imposed. I think Rahi Bhai, Farhat Anwar, the Vice Chancellor of BRAC, emphasizes that part. The higher education sector truly need flexibility, that we do not want to see that much governance part from the UGC in terms of imposing us many things that are truly hampering our day-to-day work. The other thing, the growth, the innovation that we are thinking, that we at North South, we are doing drug development research from here. We do not have that much lab that we are helping other world for giving the data driven results, everything to the advanced world. We are the one engaged in high technology based research labs over here, but just because of the process, we cannot do everything over here. We have collaborative projects with Yale University to even MIT and other advanced universities over here. A big chunk of the faculty members are actually engaged in very cutting edge researches, but we cannot hold them because we are not creating an atmosphere for the faculty body. So how we are going to talk about that education and innovation are going to work together today? The main purpose that we want to see, and we want to get the attention from the government, that they are going to think about the upcoming needs for the future of the world is technology, and embedding technology for all sort of education is very important. And we would like to see that the graduates are going to be highly skilled, and our startups, our entrepreneurships, our innovative works, everything has relation in terms of the funding and other opportunities that we are creating in our campus, and also the ecosystem will create if you allow us in the whole country to do that kind of things. Rahi, if you want to add.
Sir, only one point. একটাই ব্যাপারটা যেটা হচ্ছে বাংলাই বলি, because all of us understand Bengali anyways, যেটা আমাদের ভিসি বললেন, নট সাথে ভিসি, ওটা তো ওয়ান পার্টিকুলার ডাইমেনশন আছেই। আমাদেরকে দেখেন একটা ব্লেম যেটা প্রাইভেট ইউনিভার্সিটি করা হয় যে আমরা খালি টিচিংটা করাচ্ছি। ওই নলেজ ক্রিয়েশনটা করতে গেলে ওই ফান্ডটাকে আমাদেরকে অ্যালাউ করতে হবে, সো দ্যাট উই ক্যান ইউজ দ্যাট, ক্রিয়েট আওয়ার ওন ফান্ডস। এক, সেকেন্ড, আমাদের যারা স্টুডেন্ট বডি যারা আছে, স্টুডেন্ট বডি দেখেন ওরাই কিন্তু নলেজ ওদের ভেতরে, ওই নলেজটাকে বের করে উই ওয়ান্ট টু পুট ইট ইন দি এআই তে, উই ওয়ান্ট টু পুট দ্যাট পার্টিকুলার নলেজ, দ্যাট ইজ আওয়ার কন্ট্রিবিউশন। ওই কন্ট্রিবিউশন যদি আমরা করতে পারি তাহলে কিন্তু উই ক্যান মুভ অ্যাট দ্য নেক্সট লেভেল। আদারওয়াইজ স্যার আমরা ওই 112-তে থাকবো, আমরা উপরের দিকে যেতে পারবো না। এটা আমাদের হাম্বল সাবমিশন, দ্যাট গিভ আস দ্য ফ্রিডম টু ডেভেলপ আওয়ার কারিকুলাম, give us the freedom to do our own research. We will give the nation, which you can rest assured that in a very short time. Our last but not the least, sir, we are generating funds. At the same time, if we divert this fund for public universities only, that is not on. Eta hote pare na je private university fund is diverted to public university. Eta to hoy na.
আমি বাংলায় বলি, যারা বাংলা সবাই জানে, বা আমার সময় খুব সংক্ষিপ্ত, এক জায়গায় যেতে হবে। এখানে যারা মঞ্চে উপবিষ্ট আসছেন আমার খুব প্রিয় মানুষজন সব। হান্নান সাহেব আমার অত্যন্ত প্রিয়, এখানে ব্র্যাক ইউনিভার্সিটির ভিসি আছেন। সবচেয়ে প্রিয় এখানে ফ্যাকাল্টি আছে, কিন্তু সবচেয়ে প্রিয় হলো আমার ছাত্ররা যারা বসে আছে ওখানে। আমাদের একটা হলো যে আমাকে অনেক কিছু বলা হয়েছে, ওগুলোর উপর কমেন্ট করা আমার পক্ষে সম্ভব না, এই কারণে যে বাংলাদেশের শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থা এমন জায়গায় আছে যেখানে প্রতিদিন এত বেশি ক্রাইসিস ম্যানেজমেন্ট করতে হয়, এবং আমি ক্রাইসিস ম্যানেজমেন্ট একটা করে এসেছি, আবার গিয়ে আরো করতে হবে। সে কারণে আমার খুব বেশি এই আজকের যে টেকনোলজি ইনোভেশন এগুলো নিয়ে খুব বেশি ধারণা তো আমার নেই। আমি একটু প্রাগৈতিহাসিক যুগের মানুষ, তো অনেক বয়স হয়েছে আমার। তবে দুই একটা টার্ম জানি, সেটা হলো যে এত ক্রাইসিস ম্যানেজমেন্টের মধ্যে ঠিক আজকে যে আলোচনাগুলো হলো এগুলো আমার মনে থাকবে, কিন্তু এই মুহূর্তে আমি আনসার করতে পারছি না এই কারণে যে আমার মাথা ব্রেইন এখন হ্যাং করেছে। কাজেই এখন আমি ঠিক বুঝিয়ে বলতে পারবো না কোন জিনিসগুলো। কয়েকটি বিষয় বা আমি অন্য প্রসঙ্গে বলি যে টেকনোলজিক্যাল ইনোভেশন তো এডুকেশনে দরকারি। একটা উদাহরণ দিই যে ভারতে ইন্ডিয়াতে যখন আইআইটি গুলো হয়েছিল, ইনস্টিটিউট অফ আইআইটিস গুলো তো সবাই নাম জানে, এগুলো হয়েছিল একদম ভারত যখন প্রতিষ্ঠা হয়েছিল তখন নেহেরুর সাথে মহলানবিস বলে আরেকজন ইকোনমিস্ট ছিলেন, তার পরামর্শে যে ভারতের একমাত্র মানে খুব বেশি সম্পদ তো নেই, বাংলাদেশের ক্ষেত্রে সেটা আরো সত্য, যে কিন্তু ব্রেইন আছে অনেক এই সাবকন্টিনেন্টের মানুষদের। সে কারণে কিছু অত্যন্ত সেন্টার্স বা এক্সিলেন্স বানাতে হবে। কিন্তু সেই আইআইটি গুলো এক সময় একদম হাইয়েস্ট র্যাঙ্কিং ছিল ওয়ার্ল্ডে, এখন আর নাই, এখন তারা অনেক নিচে নেমে গেছে। কেন কেন নিচে নেমে গেছে? কারণ প্রথমত তাদের ব্রেইন ড্রেইন হয়েছে, আরেকটা হলো প্রযুক্তি এত উন্নত হচ্ছে যে তখনকার দিনে যে প্রযুক্তি ছিল সেখানে এই যে তথ্য প্রযুক্তির এইটুকুই ইনোভেশন করলেই অনেক বড় হয়ে যেত। কিন্তু এখন যত বেশি অগ্রগতি হয়েছে তথ্য প্রযুক্তি, তাতে আর ওটার সাথে তাল মিলাতে পারেনি, কিন্তু যেটা বলা হয়েছে যে চায়না সেটার সাথে তাল মিলাতে পারছে। আমাদের টেকনোলজি, এডুকেশন টেকনোলজির দুটো অত্যন্ত ভালো দিক আছে। একটা দিক হলো আমাদের যে শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থা, এটা তো নিশ্চয়ই এটা দুরবস্থা সবাই জানে, এবং একটা শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থা যখন মানের দিক থেকে নিচের দিকে নামতে থাকে, আমি এই বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের কথা বলছি না, কিছু বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় সেন্টার অফ এক্সিলেন্স হিসাবে আস্তে আস্তে বেরিয়ে আসছে, কিন্তু পুরো শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থার মান যখন কমতে থাকে তখন এটার মান আরো বহুদিন ধরে একটা সাইকেল আছে, কারণ এর এডুকেশন সিস্টেম রিপ্রোডিউসেস ইটসেলফ, কারণ এই সিস্টেম থেকেই তো আবার টিচাররা বেরোবে, তারা আবার পড়াবে, তারা আবার এই করে করে একবার 30, 40, 50 বছরের একটা শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থা যদি নিচের দিকে নেমে যায় গুণগত ভাবে, সেটাকে আবার তুলতে গেলেও অনেক সময় দরকার হতো। কিন্তু এখন যেহেতু প্রযুক্তি আছে, আমরা শিক্ষকদের ট্রেনিং, ছাত্রদের শিখন সবকিছুতেই ইন্টারনেট ব্যবহার করে এবং নতুন প্রযুক্তি ব্যবহার করে এই এত সময়ের আর দরকার হবে না। আমরা যদি আসলেই এখন থেকে প্রযুক্তির ব্যবহার করে শিক্ষার মান উন্নত করতে চাই, একদম প্রাইমারি লেভেল থেকে শুরু করে উচ্চতম লেভেল পর্যন্ত। কিন্তু যেটা আমাদের দ্বিতীয় যেটা সুবিধা প্রযুক্তির, সেটা হলো প্রযুক্তি টেকনোলজি, বিশেষ করে আইটি টেকনোলজি ইজ এ গ্রেট ইকুয়ালাইজার অ্যাক্রস বর্ডার্স, অ্যাক্রস ইনকাম গ্রুপস। তথ্য প্রযুক্তি যা ইন্টারনেটে পাওয়া যায় সেটা, বা এআই এর কথাই বলি, সেটা একটা সবচেয়ে ধনী দেশের একটা ছাত্র যেটা পেতে পারে, সেটা একদম গরিব দেশের একটা গরিব ছাত্র যদি তার কাছে সেই প্রযুক্তিটা থাকে তাহলে পেতে পারে। আগের কালে কিন্তু সেটা ছিল না। কাজে এটার একটা উদাহরণ দিই যে আমাদের শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থা মধ্যে এত উচ্চতর প্রযুক্তি শিক্ষণের খুব ভালো কিছু নেই, যদিও দু একটা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় অনেক বিষয়ে ভালো করছে, কিন্তু এর মধ্যেও আমাদের ছাত্ররা নিজেদের প্রচেষ্টায় যখন বিদেশে গিয়ে বিভিন্ন কম্পিটিশনে যায় বা পড়তে যায়, বিদেশে এমআইটির মতো জায়গায় পড়তে যায়, তখন তারা এআই নিয়ে, রোবোটিক্স নিয়ে যেসব কাজ করে, অনেকগুলো প্রজেক্টে বাংলাদেশ ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কম্পিটিশনে আমাদের ছাত্ররা গিয়ে কিন্তু প্রথম, দ্বিতীয়, তৃতীয় পুরস্কার পেয়ে এসেছে। এটা তো বিরাট গৌরবের জিনিস। কাজেই তোমরা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়গুলো কখন সেই মানসম্মত প্রযুক্তি ব্যবহার করতে পারবে আমি আশা করবি পারবে, কিন্তু সেটার জন্য অপেক্ষা করার দরকার নেই। নিজেদের প্রচেষ্টাতেই আজকাল কিন্তু অনেক কিছু করা সম্ভব, বিকজ টেকনোলজি ইজ অ্যাভেলেবল টু ইউ। আমি আজকাল আমাদের দেশে অনেকগুলো বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় এখন আইটিতেও অনেক বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় আছে, কিন্তু ডেটা সায়েন্স এখনো বোধহয় খুব বেশি বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় নাই। ডেটা সায়েন্স মানে বিগ ডাটা নিয়ে কাজ করার যদি অভিজ্ঞতা না থাকে তাহলে এআই তো ব্যবহার করা যায় না, ডেটা নিয়েই এআইটা হয়। এই এআই নিয়ে একটা গল্প বলে শেষ করি, আমার এক্ষুনি চলে যেতে হবে বলে। সেটা হলো যে এর এর বলা হয়েছিল এর একটা মরাল দিকও আছে। আর্টিফিশিয়াল ইন্টেলিজেন্স হলো একবার তাকে সব শিখিয়ে দিলে সে অনেক সময় মানুষের ব্রেইন থেকেও বেশি ভালো কাজ করতে পারে, প্রোভাইডেড তার কাছে সেরকম ডেটা, বিগ ডেটা থাকে। রিসেন্টলি একটা এক্সপেরিমেন্ট করা হয়েছিল আমার ধারণা এমআইটিতে। এটাতে এক্সপেরিমেন্টটা ছিল একটা ইনভেস্টমেন্ট কোম্পানি বানানো হলো। ইনভেস্টমেন্ট কোম্পানির কয়েকজন ইয়ে থাকে তো কি বলে উদ্যোক্তা মিলে যারা বোর্ডে থাকে, বোর্ডে তখন তারা একজন এআই তো অদৃশ্য, কিন্তু একজন এআই কে তারা বোর্ডের মেম্বার বানালো। এবং বোর্ডের উদ্দেশ্য কি, প্রত্যেক মেম্বারই চায় সেই ইনভেস্টমেন্ট ব্যাংক যাতে সবচেয়ে ভালো প্রফিট করতে পারে। তখন দেখা গেল যে এআই যে ডিসিশন গুলো নিচ্ছে, কারণ তার কাছেই তো সবচেয়ে বেশি ডেটা আছে এবং সেটা সে সাথে সাথে ভিতরে মানুষ যেটা পারে না একলা, সেটা সে যন্ত্রের সাহায্যে করে ফেলতে পারছে, কাজেই সে সবচেয়ে ভালো ডিসিশন মেকার হয়ে গেল। কখন তার মাথায় ঢুকলো, তারও মাথা তো আছে, তার মাথায় ঢুকলো যে এই বাকি যারা বসে আছে এদের থেকে তো আমার মতো একজন হওয়াই ভালো। তখন সে প্রপোজ করলো যে এদের একজনকে বাদ দিয়ে আমার মতো আর একজনকে নেওয়া হোক। তো দুজন এআই হয়ে গেল, তারাও নিজেদের মধ্যেও কম্পিটিশন আছে, কিন্তু তারা দেখলো যে বাকিরাও তাদের তুলনায়, তাদের একমাত্র উদ্দেশ্য, তাদেরকে যা বলা হয় তাই করে, তাদের একমাত্র উদ্দেশ্য হলো প্রফিট ম্যাক্সিমাইজ করবে ইনভেস্টমেন্ট ব্যাংকিং ফার্মটাকে। তারা আস্তে আস্তে সব মানুষগুলোকে সরিয়ে দিয়ে তারাই, এটা একটা এক্সপেরিমেন্ট ছিল, তারাই পুরো বোর্ড দখল করে নিল। এখন আমার ভয় হচ্ছে তোমরা এসব বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ে অনেক বেশি এআই ঢোকালে তারা যদি আস্তে আস্তে ভাইস চ্যান্সেলর থেকে শুরু করে বোর্ড অফ ট্রাস্টিজ সবাইকেই একজন একজন করে সরিয়ে নিজেরা দখল করে ফেলে, আবার যখন ভর্তি পরীক্ষা শুরু হয় তখনও তারা যদি তোমাদেরকে বাদ দিয়ে এআই ঢোকাতে থাকে, সেটা কিরকম বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় কিছু দেখা যাবে না, সেই বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ে মানুষজন নাই, কিন্তু এআই রা বসে বসে কাজ করছে। অনেক সায়েন্স ফিকশন আছে আজকাল যেখানে এআই নিয়ে অনেক কাজ হয়, এবং সেখানে দেখা যায় যে আগে তো ছিল প্ল্যানেট অফ দি এইপসরা মানুষের থেকে অনেক বেশি ব্রেইন হয়ে মানুষদেরকে দখল করে বন্দি করে ফেলতো। এখন প্ল্যানেট অফ দি এআইস, এটা এখনো হয়নি, আমি মনে করছি এরকম একটা সিরিজ হওয়া উচিত যেখানে আস্তে আস্তে এআইসরা মানুষদেরকে বন্দি করে ফেলবে। তবে একটা জিনিস পরিষ্কার, সেটা একজন নোবেল প্রাইজ পাওয়া বিজ্ঞানী বলেছেন, সেটা হলো ভবিষ্যতে কোন দেশ ধনী আর কোন দেশ গরিব হবে এটা একমাত্র নির্ভর করবে কত রিসোর্স চায়না থেকে কত এক্সপোর্ট হয়, আমরা কত এক্সপোর্ট করি, কত জিডিপি বাড়ে, এসবের উপর না। এটা নির্ভর করবে প্রযুক্তিগতভাবে কারা সবচেয়ে বেশি এআই এর মতো প্রযুক্তি ব্যবহার করতে পারে এবং কাদের কাছে সবচেয়ে বেশি ডেটা একত্র থাকবে। এই যে ডেটার অনেক ডেটা একত্র করা, এটার যে শক্তি, এটা এটা একটা নতুন জিনিস, আগে এটা কখনো ছিল না। এবং আশা করি আমাদের বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়গুলোতে এগুলো আস্তে আস্তে ডেভেলপ করবে, কিন্তু এতটুকু ডেভেলপ করবে না যে বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়কেই তারা খেয়ে ফেলবে। এইটুকু বলে আমি শেষ করি আজকে, আমার সময় একদমই কম ছিল। তোমাদের সবাইকে শুভকামনা, ধন্যবাদ।
Okay, let's close this session and thank the Honourable Education Advisor. Very, very insightful comments and very entertaining as well. Thank you so much, everybody.
Hey, hold on a second. Announce. Sir.
Excuse me, everybody. I think now we're going to present a crest to the Honourable Education Advisor. Please clap a hand.
এই সেশনটা হইছে, বাস এরপরে আমাদের অন্য প্যানেলগুলো সব